This is UFO sighting, Perrysburg, Ohio, 1977. Maybe you're among the millions of Americans who have viewed this U.S. Navy video clip.
Yeah, fraud, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh, thing, dude. That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. It is LNS, dude. Well, if there's another thing, it's rotating.
The New York Times investigation into the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program at the Pentagon reported that the first pilot who saw this object described it as a 40-foot-long tic-tac, an unidentified flying object with no visible means of propulsion, just hanging close to the water. Said the pilot, "As I get closer, as my nose is starting to pull back up, it accelerates and it's gone, faster than I'd ever seen anything in my life." So I've been waiting for this day since a night in the summer of '77 when I chased one. That summer, after graduating from my Catholic all-guys high school, a classmate and good friend asked me to join him in Ohio as a summer camp counselor. I love summer camp. I've been a counselor in training for the Boy Scouts. I applied and was accepted. We arrived at the Divine Word Seminary, summer camp for boys, in Perrysburg, Ohio, aside the Maumee River, to find a wicked large campus with a fancy setup, including classrooms, admin buildings, dormitories, and a big gym, plus horses, a horse barn, and a paddock, riding trails, hiking trails, a canoe pond, an archery range, a ball field, a woodworking shop, a great view, a large swimming pool, a rifle range, and a cafeteria. Inside the cafeteria, for our first camp counselors meeting, amiable young men from South Africa, England, and everywhere USA filled rows and rows of tables. Jobs were handed out that day: head of this, assistant of that, or counselor. I was the Boy Scout with a riflery merit badge. The camp director asked me to head the rifle range. I ran a safe, educational, and controlled firing line, and so I earned the camp director's trust. He let me drive the camp sedan. The first night we went roller skating at the rink. The second night, we said we were going roller skating at the rink, but we didn't. Instead, we drove to a store and bought beer. Teenagers. Boys. We turned off the camp road about a mile before camp to a secluded spot that one of the guys knew about. We drove up this dark, wooded hillside, stopping at a scenic overlook that dead-ended in an empty parking lot above the Maumee River. As I popped the cassette tape into the player and clicked play, as the first beers and the back seat snapped open, as the pot pipe was being packed, the parking lot illuminated like daylight. Pop! "Oh my God, it's the cops," one guy gasped. Adrenaline and fear raced through our bodies. As the driver, feeling responsible, I said, "We're busted, boys. Let's be good Catholic schoolboys and give ourselves up, hands up, everybody out of the car." We piled out as a guy gasped, "How am I going to explain an arrest to my parents?" We all worried the same thought as we turned to face the cops. Behind us, we saw nobody and nothing. The daylight came from above, and we looked up at an entire ceiling solid with light right overhead. Wide-eyed and slightly blinded, I lowered my head to see if it had an edge, and it did, about 25 yards away. We stood beneath this light in the middle center of it. Whatever it was immense and silent. Awestruck, nobody spoke. Awestruck, nobody moved, until about a minute passed after the adrenaline rush, the fear of cops and parents subsided. Suddenly the aircraft, because that's what it was, silently began to drift down slowly, going down the hillside, gliding just above treetop. It looked like a saucer to me, and it had no visible means of propulsion. A guy shouted, "Everybody into the car, let's go after it." So we dove in. I turned the car around and we took off after it. One of the guys shouted, "Toss the beers, the pot, and the pipe out the windows. No point in getting caught." We turned toward camp, racing after the unidentified craft. It was just ahead of us, picking up speed as it paralleled the road, skimming over treetops, flying over cornfields and soy fields and woodlands, a bright white light against a dark, starlit sky. And then we were speeding through camp. And the speedometer, I looked down, it read 86. The aircraft accelerated, and I floored it on the straightaway. Miles from camp, it made a right-angle, right-hand turn onto Route 64. It never decelerated. It did 90 through the entire right angle. Imagine the G-forces. Holy shit, did you see that? A guy shouted as we zoomed past that T-bone turn. Go after it, they chorused. I hit the brakes and shot the car to the left, flying off the road and down an embankment, landing in a cornfield, tearing through rows of corn by the dozens with the steering wheel hard over, spraying an arc of corn parts and dirt, arcing toward Route 64. Straightening, I floored it and bounded up the embankment and bounced down hard on the pavement. Heads and bodies went out the windows, searching the sky ahead and above, and everybody was shouting at each other. About a quarter mile toward the bridge, over the Maumee River, it waited, hovering just over treetop. We roared on, and in a split second, it shot up like a streak of stretched light at a humanly impossible speed and was gone. I stopped the car, we got out, saying nothing, still staring at the night sky, as we processed what had just happened. After minutes passed by, a guy said, "Hey guys, there are corn stalks sticking out from underneath the car. No sense in getting caught." We slow drove back to camp, summarizing. It was an utterly silent aircraft that could hover, could make impossible right-angle turns, and moved at an unthinkable, inhuman speed. It had no visible means of propulsion. So what did we think and feel? We thought that whoever they were, they knew that we knew that they had our attention. We were watching each other, and we felt like they were playing with us and maybe showing off for laughs like we might do, teenage boys. We decided that it was smarter to keep this event to ourselves for that whole summer. Who would believe us? And then there was the matter of the cornfield. I checked under the sedan at first light before camp, awoke, and it was a good thing that I did because there were partial corn stalks underneath the car still. I've told only a few trusted people over the years, but mostly I've kept my mouth shut for obvious reasons. I can't prove it, and I can't expect you to believe me unless you've seen one, and I think there are plenty of good people who have seen one, who don't talk about it, and who want to talk about it. So now's a good time. Why? Because, as the Daily Mail reported, the former head of a Pentagon program to understand the mysteries of UFOs has said that such objects visiting Earth have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. Let that legal term sink in. Let's keep this conversation, meaning your replies, focused on your personal sighting of unidentified aircrafts by describing them and what they did. It's a safe place to begin. Just the facts. I'd love to read your comments below, and think of the theological implications, my friends. If this video means something to you, please share it. Peace out. Jah love. God is one love for us all. Till next time.